connecting you. This is Iowa's News Now at noon.
We're bringing you Iowa's News Now. A record-breaking early snowfall, how one eastern Iowa city is prepping for a potentially brutal winter. But first, it's finally here. Game week for Iowa football, and within the last hour, there's been a big decision about Saturday's game as Hawkeyes push for change in their program. Players have the choice of kneeling during the national anthem before Saturday's kickoff at Purdue. Just 45 minutes ago, sophomore wide receiver Tyrone Tracy revealed he will kneel during the anthem, a sign of support for the continued push for racial equality and social justice in America. Tracy says he's doing what he feels is right.
That is what I believe in. I do think that there is a lot of different things going on within the world that need some change. But I think here in the organization, I think we are going in the right direction. And I think we are taking steps to provide change.
After we heard from Tracy, sophomore quarterback Spencer Petras says he wasn't sure if the team would even be on the field at Purdue for the anthem, but it sounds like whatever players choose to do, they'll do something to show they're united. Game time Saturday is 2:40 Iowa time on BTN. The Hawkeyes season starts as 8 black former players prepare to file a lawsuit against the program for racial discrimination. In a release to Iowa's News Now, attorney Demario Solomon Simmons accuses Iowa of leaking the group's letter of demands to the media to try and, quote, shame and intimidate the players. The university has already said they won't pay the requested $20 million in damages and that they won't fire head coach Kirk Ferentz, offensive coordinator Brian Ferentz, or athletic director Gary Barta. We'll let you know as soon as that lawsuit is filed. And it has been a wild week for weather. Yesterday, snow, and Nick, you're saying that we'll see another day in the 70s before this is all over?
The wild week of weather continues here in eastern Iowa. Snow yesterday, and then we're talking about 70s later on, but we got to get to some cool temperatures first. Just 40s so far today, 45 up in Waterloo, 44 in Iowa City, but yes, we are tracking some 70s in the forecast and even some strong thunderstorms. We'll detail that and time it all out coming up in your full weather first forecast in a few minutes.
Thank you, Nick. Just 24 hours after seeing our first significant snowfall, Cedar Rapids Public Works is asking City Council if they can purchase 8,000 tons of salt. That's to stock up for winter this year. 9 plows will be primed and ready to go when a storm hits. The city is still working to complete a first pass for derecho debris removal. Right now, crews have hit about 95% of the city and hope to pick up what's left before snow starts to pile up.
Making sure that we get the stuff picked up and out of the right of way. As we pick up material, or as the contractor goes through and picks up that material, a lot of it is still coming back out to the right of way. And a lot of that just has to do with people not having room to place stuff. And we get that, and that's why we're going to make additional passes as necessary.
City crews say they're ready to switch from debris removal to prepping and clearing roads as soon as needed. And speaking of Monday's snowfall, it was actually a record breaker. It's the earliest snow we've seen in eastern Iowa in 14 years and the earliest we've ever seen 2 inches. The old record was back on October 25th of 1898. A snow squall warning was issued for the central part of the state. So much snow so early could be a sign of a long winter ahead. That squall in central Iowa dropped 9 inches of snow around Des Moines and Ankeny. Eastern Iowa stayed in the 2 to 4 inch range. The National Weather Service says Arctic air has been dipping a little further south the last 2 years, bringing us these early snowstorms. That pattern could mean colder than average temperatures and above average snowfall this winter. The Linn County Sheriff's Office is reminding drivers to allow more time to get to your destination. Slow down and leave plenty of space between you and other drivers in snowy conditions. Also, avoid panic braking. That can cause your car to slide. There was an uptick in accidents after Monday's flurries. Iowa City Police are trying to find out who spray painted a swastika at City Park. Riverside Theater staff found the graffiti on Saturday morning along with white supremacy messages. The theater director says whoever did this wanted a lot of people to see it.
It's a public place, it's open. I think in some ways it was an accessible place, but it's also a place where people gather. Whether intentional or not, The theater is a place of inclusion.
Other areas of the park were hit with graffiti. There's no cameras there, so if you saw anything, you're asked to call Iowa City Police. New rules for this week's presidential debate aim at cutting down on interruptions. Why the president is now saying the debate commission is against him. That's next on Iowa's News Now. President Trump says he will show up for Thursday night's second and final presidential debate, but he's not happy about the changes the debate commission made. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
I should have closed our country. Wait a minute.
The mute button is coming to the next presidential debate.
The question is, Justice, radical left. Will you shut up, man?
Organizers announced new rules that give President Trump and Joe Biden 2 uninterrupted minutes to answer questions at the start of each segment. During that time, the other candidate's microphone will be off.
These people are not good people, this commission. A lot of funny things go on with them.
President Trump says the Commission on Presidential Debates is against him and repeated a claim he made yesterday about Thursday's debate moderator.
Kristen Welker is, a dyed-in-the-wool radical left Democrat or whatever she is. Okay, then ask, why are you defending her?
The president says he's also unhappy the night will include topics beyond the debate's original focus, foreign policy. But he says he still plans on attacking Biden over his son Hunter's business deals in Ukraine and China.
I think he's imploding. You look at all the corruption in his family, it's tremendous corruption.
The Biden campaign, for its part, said President Trump is, quote, afraid to face more questions about his disastrous COVID response and is more concerned with the rules of the debate than he is getting a nation in crisis the help it needs.
He was informed that it was lethal in proportion. It would kill 5 times as many people as the flu. He was informed. And what did he do? He stood at rallies and he stood before the American people and he didn't tell you what he knew.
Aside from the debate, Biden does not have any public appearances scheduled until Friday. The candidates have just 2 weeks until Election Day. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
President Trump has a rally in Erie, Pennsylvania tonight. New this afternoon, Iowa Secretary of State Paul Pate announces Iowa has surpassed 800,000 absentee ballot requests. More than 513,000 Iowans have already voted for the November 3rd general election. Pate says it's the result of mailers and increased social media use going back to the primary.
I think somewhat the COVID dilemma, people are, more focused on the elections. I think a lot of them are spending more time at home, so they're taking in the news that's all going on around them more. And they're stepping up and they're being voters.
Pate says voters can go to voterready.iowa.gov to better understand the voting process. Plus, they can learn the closest polling sites in their neighborhoods. We have a direct link to that on our website, iowasnewsnow.com, and a reminder that if you vote absentee, your request must be in your auditor's hands this Saturday.